So you work hard and make a lot of money and you're excited about, but then you realize your silent partner has their hand out for 20%, or in California, maybe even more, paying taxes. How do we end up with the most after taxes is really the goal. And one way is to make sure you plan ahead by putting those entities in the right case. Very complicated material on one hand, and yet we can turn to experts to get some help. I'm really excited to talk today to Sally Gimon, who I've known through a networking group for a while, and we had a chance to talk a little bit about what she's doing and share with you guys. So Sally, say hi.
Hello, thanks for having me, Bill. I appreciate it.
How did you get into the tax strategy business? How did that become something that you got involved with?
True story. I am a real estate investor. Back in July of 2020, the deal of the week in my real estate group was a bank-owned reverse mortgage that I had paid $20,000 for. And when COVID restrictions got lifted, it was going to go to auction for $50,000. Yay, Sally. I was going to make $30,000. And I'm like, this is great. But
Nice.
In my real estate group, I don't know if you know a gentleman called Garrett Gunderson. He wrote a book called What the Rockefellers Do. And I had read it, and I'm just like, if they don't have to pay taxes and US presidents don't have to pay taxes, what can I do?
Right.
True story. We were talking with my family. We have the business trust for 1099 income. My brother has a brewery. My sister-in-law has her own business. I run 3 online businesses. And then for investments, I don't care. Real estate, crypto miner, stock market, options, Forex, anything. That's the beneficial trust. My father and I were looking at it. Unfortunately, he passed away from COVID before we could do things, but we used his estate to get the trust. I put the paperwork into the trust in September September 2020, and didn't sell the house until August 28th, 2021. Lucky for me, it went up to $64,000. I made $44,000 on that. Because it was in the trust, I saved over $10,500 in capital gains on that one real estate deal alone. My brother's saving thousands with his brewery in the business trust because everything's leased back to the brewery and things like that. And my goal is to teach people, because people selling a business, I don't care if it's a pizzeria or a car wash, they don't realize they have to pay capital gains when they sell the business. It's a lot of money. I mean, 23%, and it could go up to 40% for some tax brackets. That's a lot of money for people to pay without knowing about it.
You know, I deal with a lot with probate and trust, and it's true that probate, when something's passed from one generation to the next, or when you inherit it, you get a free step-up basis. But what people don't realize is that step-up basis is as of the date of death, and then, like you say, things appreciate after that. You have a tax bill, and people are surprised at how much it is. It's great to talk about taxes until you've got to pay it, right? So talk a little bit about how does the Spendthrift Trust and the tools you use, how does that, and again, this is playing by the rules. This is playing the game the IRS has given us by the rule book. Explain to us how that helps legally avoid paying taxes on those gains.
Correct. It is written in tax code. The tax code is 643B, like boy. This is a patented trust. It is going to defer for any investors capital gains, interest income, dividend income, rent roll taxes, and royalties into infinity. I'm working with a large business broker, and his number one question is like, what if they change the tax code? And I'm like, oh, it's a contract. What you have with your LLC, S Corps, and C Corps, that's a statutory law. This is a contract law. So if Congress changes things, they can't go back and change what's already written, if that makes sense. A contract is a solid thing. It comes from England. Back when King Henry VIII started the Church of England, the lords and ladies went back to say, you can't tax us for a new church because that we didn't ask for it. And this is where it's all based on. So even people in Louisiana, because it's federal level, the people in Louisiana who are on the Napoleonic law, that they too would only have to worry about the federal level on this, because you file a 1041 return, and like the state of North Carolina doesn't know I exist at all.
No, most people, when you start talking about taxes, their eyes just glaze over. I'm probably one of those. I know some good fundamentals, But so do you work with somebody's tax preparer, or how do you get this effectuated? If somebody has a $2-3 million gain coming, you're talking about a lot of money, but they also have a lot of risk if this doesn't work out. So do you work with tax preparers, or do you have tax preparers that are familiar with this system already?
Great question, Bill. When you do purchase a trust, we do have our tax preparers who will file your first 1041 free of charge. They'll work with your CPAs to teach them, and then it's up to your decision if you'll continue using your own CPA or using somebody else's. One of my clients, his CPA was charging him $154,000 a year on interest income. He was doing the BRRRR strategy. He's just like, I don't want to deal with him anymore. Give me a new CPA, and we have several different CPAs to work with them. Again, it's all what you'd like to do.
So obviously, it's a very complicated process, and our goal today is not to understand all of it, but more to introduce you and then say, well, here's the on-ramp if you're interested in more. So if somebody wanted to learn more, to review themselves and or send their CPA to see what they thought of it, what's the best way to learn more about this process?
Thank you, Bill. My website is thetrustisyou.com. It's YOU. There you're going to get a PDF. Yes, with my mouth wide open like usual. Thetrustisyou.com. And then I do go live every Monday night, 8 p.m. East Coast time for Q&A. I go over the slide deck that's for free here, open it up for questions. And, again, it's not a necessity, but it's to help people, if I can save money and other investors can save money, it's a wonderful thing to do.
Well, again, it's something that anybody who has substantial capital gains, I don't have any substantial yet, but I have enough to pay attention to these issues. And I have clients who I think most primarily, if they get a business that they inherit or something that's outside the probate, outside the trust, becomes important. So again, I've known Sally through our networking group. Really encourage you to learn a little more about this. I actually read the book because I heard you present this a few months ago, and I read the book, How the Rockefellers Avoid Paying Taxes. It was fascinating, and it's kind of makes sense when you think about it. Now, making sense and hiring somebody to do the paperwork are two different things. You can't just make sense and tell the IRS you don't owe taxes. You've got to actually do the paperwork properly. So I appreciate that. Again, thetrustisyou.com is a great place to start. And she has her seminar, her weekly webinar, as well as she has the slides available if you send it there. Sally, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
I thank you, Bill. Have a wonderful week, okay?
Okay, all the best. Bye-bye.